everyone. So in this video, we're gonna talk about a few different types of vacuums for your home and which one I think is best suited for its specific applications. So I would have to say all those vacuums, they all work slightly different, and actually some people might prefer one over the other, and some people might just swear by one over the other. But in this video, I'm going to actually talk about all of those different types of vacuums and the pros and cons of each kind of vacuum. So over here on the left side of the video, on my right, is the Miele C3 series vacuum, and this is a canister vacuum. So basically you have this little can over here, and you put it on the floor and it slides around. Of course, this is a powered vacuum, so you'll need a power cord to actually power it up and be able to use it. So I guess that's one of the downside of the canister vacuums, or the downside of the canister vacuum is actually there is a power cord. It can cover a fairly large room, but you have to unplug this and switch to different rooms so you can vacuum room by room. Okay, this is my personal favorite, which is the canister type, and it comes with a few different kinds of heads. And this one is the general head for hardwood floor, because we have mostly hardwood floors. They also have a head for carpet. This vacuum works exceptionally well on hardwood floor, but it only works okay on the carpets. So on the carpets, they have a special head that's actually powered. So when you turn the power on, the head inside actually spins. So it kind of works like a upright vacuum over here. But for the most part, I love this for the hardwood floor because it has the strongest suction, and it's also one of the quietest vacuum I've ever used. So if you're ever looking for a canister type of vacuum, you'll want to look at the Miele. So another thing with canister type is the Miele have exceptionally well filtration system. So it have a HEPA filter in the front, and the back itself is also HEPA type. So it actually, when you use this vacuum, nothing gets escaped. All the dirt gets trapped over here, and it only returns clean air out to the rooms. Another downside with this kind of vacuum canister with a filter bag is you have to constantly replace them. The replacement cost for the filter bag for the Miele is actually fairly expensive, and because we have a whole bunch of cats, that cost actually adds up fairly quickly. So remember, the canister type, this is the only type in this vacuum lineup that actually needs replacement filter bags. Okay, the rest it's just self-cleaning type of the filter, and you can easily clean them really quickly. So again, this is my favorite, and it works exceptionally well for hardwood floors, works okay for carpets, and it needs a special adapter or the carpet head to clean the carpets. Let's move on to the next one. So this is the iRobot Roomba, and we got this because we are like really tired of cleaning the downstairs floors of pet hair. We have 7 cats, so there's a lot of hair going on every day. And I was using this before, and then we got this, and this thing actually takes care of picking up all the hairs on the corners downstairs. So exceptionally well, works great at picking up pet hair. It works, again, also works great on hardwood floor, only works okay on carpets. On the carpet, this is the iRobot Roomba 985, which is similar as the model 980. It does have a boost mode for carpets, but the problem is when you use boost mode, the battery life is significantly reduced. Now this thing cleans our downstairs floors, which is about 700 square foot of the cleanable area. It takes about an hour to clean the whole floor. So I set it to clean every day, like before we get home. So when we get home, there would be no pet hairs around, at least downstairs. It works good at picking up pet hair, but it's not so good at picking up dust. As you can see over here, if I lift it up, like you can see already some of the dust has been leaked out from the bin over here. Now, again, we're talking about the downside of the Roomba is that the bin is fairly small, so you have to clean it. If you have a lot of pets around the house, you have to clean it almost every day or every other day. The filter also requires constant maintenance. They actually recommend you to clean the filter, to exchange the filter quite frequently, but what I do is I just use my canister vacuum and I just vacuum the filter clean, so there's no dust or dirt on the filter, and then I can extend the filter life a little bit for the Roomba that we have over here. Most of the parts in the Roomba is replaceable, and again, the bin requires constant maintenance, so it's great for picking up pet hair, and it's great for working by itself. If you have pets, this is definitely a much needed add-on, for your house. And if you have hardwood floor, this works great. If you have carpet, it works okay, and the battery life will be significantly reduced if you actually have a carpet floor, because it actually use a different boost mode to give more suction when it's working on the carpet. The cool thing is ultimately it detects between hardwood floor and the carpet, so when it detects there's carpet, it goes into the boost mode. If not, it just goes regular clean. It's also great at picking up all the stuff around the edges, because it have a feature in the app. It's called edge clean. So when it finishes the clean cycle, regular clean cycle, it goes to the edge of the house and it just picks up all the hair around the edge, which we had problems before with pet hairs just stuck on the edge. So this thing goes into a lot of places and it cleans a lot of stuff. It doesn't do a complete job, but it's great at general daily maintenance. So once in a while you still have to use one of those big ones to do a good clean in your house, but for the most part this works great. Now, forgot to mention the price. So the Miele C3 series, I think when we bought it, it's around $500. Not a cheap vacuum by any means, but this is my favorite, and I think in terms of performance, the best kind of vacuum. The downside for the Miele is, again, price is a little bit more expensive, and you have to replace the filter quite often. Now go to the Roomba, and we got this also at Costco for around $499, so $500 also. This two vacuum costs almost the same. I'm not sure about the price right now because I think they have the newer model coming out, and but again, it's fairly expensive. Again, in my opinion, it works great for people who have pets at home and have a hardwood floor. Sometimes, because this is their most advanced version a couple months ago, so when it actually runs out of battery, it actually goes back to the charging station, charge itself up, and then finish the vacuuming. So even if you have a carpet floor, the battery runs out, it's gonna go back and recharge and go back to finish the job. Now, if you have pets and if you have carpets, I don't think this is gonna work very well, because the bin gets filled super quick because it's a small bin, and you have to constantly clean it. If you don't clean it, it gives you an error message that says you have to clean the bin before you can continue the vacuuming job on the Roomba. Now, I know they came out with their newest version, I think only last month. It's their basically what they did is they added a extra bin, so the Roomba, when it finished the clean, it's gonna go back to the docking station, and the docking station is gonna suck up all the hairs, whatever is inside, and then the Roomba can go back and continue cleaning the floor. So I think now that is their most advanced version, and unfortunately it costs too much. I think almost $1,000 for just a robot vacuum machine. To me, it's too much. $500 is still a little too much, but I think for the purpose that it does for our 7 cats at home, it works great. So move on to the, this is a Shark, I think it's called Shark Navigator Professional. We got this at Costco also. This is a very standard, I guess what people say is most of the upright vacuum. So this one costs $150. So this is the cheapest vacuum of the bunch, and it does a decent job at cleaning the floors. The suction is not as good as a Miele, and it's very loud, but if you don't want to spend a lot of money on a vacuum machine, and if you have a fairly small apartment or the house, this should do the work just fine. Now, this one actually have one area it excels compared to all those is that it cleans exceptionally well on carpets. Actually, most of the upright vacuums I've used, they're actually best used for carpet floors because the brush head design on the bottom of those are just like the design for carpets. When you turn this on, it picks up almost all kinds of dirt on carpets, and it works okay on hardwood floors. That's why when we bought it, I was only going to be using it for the carpet area, our stairs and upstairs. So, and now because we have that vacuum, we're going to talk in a little bit. I am actually selling this one because it works great on carpets, but then again, I have to use different vacuums for different things. It becomes cumbersome every time I have to switch to a different vacuum for a different job. So the good thing about the upright vacuum is that you can have those for fairly cheaper than some of the other offerings that I've talked about. You can get a good quality upright vacuum for around $100 to $150. And they have a fairly large dustbin that you can easily dump out when it gets full, but it doesn't really get full with one vacuum. It usually gets full with a few vacuums, even with a whole bunch of cats in our house. And keep in mind, I only use this to vacuum my carpets, and that's where all the hair gets trapped. So this is great for the carpets compared to the Miele because one, I don't have to spend a lot of money on replaceable filter bags, and second, the brush head design for this vacuum actually sucks out the hair exceptionally well on the carpets. It also works fairly good on the hardwood floor. So what generally those vacuum does, the upright does for the hardwood floor is that they stop spinning the brush on the bottom, so they only use suction from down there to suck up all the dust on the hardwood floor, and there is a switch to turn the brush on the bottom on and off. Okay, so that's how they do it. So again, really affordable. That's a huge plus on those vacuums. My last one, I think it's a Eureka. It's called the Boss. I bought the vacuum for around $100 and I used it for almost 10 years. And the only reason I got rid of it is because the motor actually failed after 10 years of use. So definitely those are a keeper if you constantly vacuum carpets, and you don't want to spend upwards to close to $1,000 for a vacuum machine. The downside, of course, is this is the most heavy vacuum that you can find within all those that I've talked about. Upright is usually the heaviest vacuum available, and it is corded. Those cords get really messy after a while when you start vacuuming, and you need to go back to an area that you already vacuumed. The cord is going to be there, slopping your way, so not the best cable management over there, and that's about it. Usually the weight is what let most people down, because I know a lot of ladies do house cleaning at home, but I actually do most of the house cleaning in my house, so the weight doesn't bother me. If you're a lady, you definitely want to consider some other options that I've talked about, okay, within this review. So I'm going to put this aside. And at the very end, I want to talk about the Dyson, which we actually just bought a couple weeks ago. So this is what they call a cordless vacuum, and it's completely cable-free. It's there's a little battery pack inside here, so every time you turn the vacuum on, it draws the power from the battery. And this is actually our first Dyson product, and I have to say I'm quite impressed with I think this is the model number Dyson V10 Absolute. This vacuum actually replaced a lot of our other vacuums in the house. So right now, what I use most in the house is actually the Roomba, which I don't actually have to touch it except cleaning the dustbin and do the general maintenance, and the Dyson. The reason I favored this one quite a lot is because it's so much easier to just pick up and start vacuuming. So all those dust left before from the Roomba, the leakage of the Roomba, I can just do this. And it's all gone. So imagine if I need to vacuum this out for my favorite canister vacuum, I have to put it down, I have to draw out the cords, and I have to connect it to the wall, and then take this out, press the power button, and start vacuuming. So even though the Miele is my to-go vacuum for complete house clean job for our mostly hardwood floor area, right now, after I bought this is my to-go vacuum for most of the cleaning, because it comes with two different kinds of heads. The one I have here is actually for hardwood floors, which is what we have downstairs. But it also have a different head just designed for carpets. And actually I'm going to show you guys. Give me a few seconds. Okay, so it also have one of those actually carpet heads designed especially for carpets. Again, it have the familiar, the roller brush on the bottom of the head, and it's actually a similar design than the upright vacuum, which I talked about, which is great for carpets because of the design of the head and the suction. It sucks up the hair and pick up the hair exceptionally well on the carpets. So now this vacuum actually already replaced kind of the Miele and our old Navgator vacuum for now. So with the added benefit of lightweight and cordless, this has become our go-to vacuum. So I talked about all the benefits of the cordless vacuum, and the downside, of course, it definitely have downsides, is that the bin is exceptionally small. Like, you can only pick up this much of the hair, and the central core, if you can see, is also fairly large, so it really doesn't pick up that much hair when you need to actually start vacuuming stuff. I would have to say this bin is probably the same size as the Roomba that we have over there. It's probably even smaller than a Roomba. So especially after you're vacuuming carpets, you have to dump this bin super often. So with carpets, I have to probably dump it 2 to 3 times if there are a lot of pet hair and I haven't cleaned the carpets for a while. Again, slight inconvenience, I can live with that, but the benefit really outweighs the limits of the dustbin. Another thing is that because it's very modular design, you can take this out and just put one of the heads on, or like maybe one of the attachments on, and then start vacuuming your cars or any other remote areas that you need to vacuum, like your trailer, your RV trailer, and things like that. So this is really great, and it's also fairly lightweight. Now the V10, because it has a larger battery, it's slightly heavier than the I think their V8 model that they came out also at the same time as this one. The V8 have an even smaller dustbin, and of course also a shorter battery life. This one at full power, I'll show you guys. This is the full power. It only lasts less than 15 minutes before the battery dies. And if you have the roller head, which is also battery powered, it's gonna die even quicker. With medium and the low suction, it's great for hardwood floors, but if you need to vacuum carpets, you still need to use the maximum power. So I would have to say, if you have a large room with carpets, this vacuum is also limited in its use, because you have to actually charge it midway to finish a complete job for your house. And this battery is not replaceable. From what I read from some other reviews, that the old Dyson battery is actually replaceable, so you can have a whole bunch laying around, and with a battery Dyson you can just put a new one in, and this one doesn't. So it's great for small rooms. It's exceptionally great for small rooms. Like if I have a small room, I'm probably only gonna keep the Dyson and I'm gonna get rid of all of the other ones. I have a fairly large room. It's not any larger. It's not a big house. Like downstairs, again, as I mentioned before, it's only around 700 square foot. So for this vacuum, it's definitely more than enough to do a complete job. And then I can even bring the vacuum upstairs and vacuum the carpet area upstairs. So one charge, I can do the entire clean job with Dyson. For my house, if you have a really large house, you'll want to consider a few different options. Maybe get 2 of those, which would be crazy because I think I bought this also a couple weeks ago for close to $500. So $500 vacuum, $500 vacuum, and $500 vacuum. Like, I have already spent too much money on vacuums, and now I need to make a final decision on which vacuum to keep, and maybe sell the rest of the vacuums. So take my words. I actually use all those vacuums quite a lot, and I would have to say the most convenient one, most easy one to use is the Dyson cordless one. Definitely the winner. There are definitely downsides also, which for me I can live with, but for some people maybe it's not the best choice for you. With the Dyson and paired with the Roomba, it makes cleaning actually a lot less stressful and a lot more fun. But if you still need a complete job for cleaning your house and you're really allergic to the dusts in the air, I would highly suggest get the Canister version of the Miele C3 series. This one have exceptional filtration for dust. And it's really quiet to use. Like at the lowest volume, like you basically can't hear anything when it's actually running. And even at the lowest volume, the lowest power setting, it sucks up all kinds of stuff. Because of the, like, it's just a really well designed canister vacuum. And if budget is really a concern, you should just get one of those upright, right over here. Personally, I wouldn't get a upright because one, it's really heavy to use, especially for a lot of girls, and second, if you have a small area, if you have a lot of things around like tables, chairs, the upright actually bumps into a lot of things, and it will actually prevent you from cleaning the underside of a lot of stuff. So that's one reason I don't really use the upright a lot, because the rest of the head design, it's easy for me to go into all different kinds of places except the upright vacuum. So this one I can go to places, this one I can go to all kinds of places. This one I can't. The only thing I can do, like alternatively, would be like use this and a little plug over, little attachments over here to go into places. So that's another thing that I dislike, the upright vacuum. So if you ask me in terms of ease of use, this one will be at the bottom of the list of the ease of use. And then the Roomba will be on the top of the ease of use, but again, it all depends, because if you need to clean the dustbin a lot, it's not easy to use. This one, I guess, if you ask me, this is the Dyson V10 is probably the best in terms of ease of use, because it's cordless, it's rechargeable, super fast to dump the dustbin, and you can change the attachments really easily. So in terms of ease of use, this is the king and this is the bottom. Now, in terms of effectiveness, how clean you want your house to be, I would have to rank the Miele at top of the line. So this one actually cleans the house exceptionally well, and it's also have the best filtration. So if you're allergic, if you really want your house to be spot free, super clean, dust free, get the Miele, because it really does a exceptionally well job to clean the entire house. Okay, and it never runs out of battery because it's corded. So the only thing you have to deal with is that cord. Again, because the cord is really nicely designed with Miele, it's really easy to like move it from room to room, because It's actually spring-loaded, so it's still fairly quick to operate, but the Miele is going to clean your house really well. I guess the second one to Miele would be the upright, because it have a decent amount of suction, and it cleans the carpet exceptionally well. It also cleans hardwood floors fairly well. Limitation would be some of the tight areas, tight corners, low clearance areas. You can't use this Shark upright vacuum because you're going to be limited at areas that you can use it. But it actually cleans really well on the areas that it can reach. Okay, this one I would have to say it's kind of slightly less effective than the Shark in terms of suction power and cleanliness of the area cleaned, because it have a small dustbin, and because you have to use the highest power for the best suction. It's only limited to less than 15 minutes of clean. Again, if you have a small area, this would probably work better than the Shark. But if you have a large area, the Shark would cleaning better than the Dyson Cordless. The Roomba will be on the bottom of the cleanliness, effectiveness of the cleaning in terms of the... and the Roomba will probably be on the bottom of effectiveness of the cleaning. Because it actually leaks, like just by shaking it, it leaks a whole bunch of dust that I haven't cleaned yet. It doesn't pick up the dust that well, even though in the advertisement it looks like it's picking up all the dust exceptionally well. No, it doesn't. It leaves a trail of small things around, like cat litter. It doesn't pick up cat litter that well, but it does pick up the hair really good on the corners. In terms of suction power and everything, this is the weakest, but it's also the most easy to use because it's fully automatic. So that is in terms of cleanliness of those vacuums, and it really actually depends on what you need the vacuum for. If you have a hardwood floor, if you have a carpet floor, if your house is big, if your house is small, different vacuums actually serves very different purpose. And if I only have to pick one vacuum for my house, I would pick the Dyson. If I have to pick a vacuum for my house because my house is really, really big and lots of carpet areas and mixed hardwood floors, I would pick the Miele. If you have pets, the Roomba is a great add-on to keep your house clean and hair-free. If your budget is very limited, pick the Shark. You wouldn't go wrong with Shark for less than $200. It does all those. It does the job of all those vacuums, except it's much cheaper. The only downside is it's very heavy, and you're limited by where the head can go because it's an upright vacuum. So I hope this actually answers your guys' questions in terms of what kind of vacuum to pick. There's really no best vacuum out there. Different vacuums serve different purposes. So if you guys have any questions about those vacuums, feel free to ask me in the comment section. After all, I've tried all the vacuums because I'm always looking for the best perfect vacuum for my house, since we have lots of cats and lots of hairs. Okay, so again, thank you so much for watching this quick comparison video, and hope you liked it. If you did, please hit the like button, and I'll try to have more similar video contents coming out for you guys. And thanks again, and take care.